everybody? Welcome to BioS3 Raw TV. Tonight we're going to talk about will Phil, that kind of rhymes, win number 7 this year. Got a lot of people tell you, what do you think, Jerry? You think Phil will win? The fuck are you nuts? Of course Phil's going to win. Like, here's the deal, guys. A lot of people are talking about Big Ramy, Rulli. Listen, Big Ramy and Rulli haven't even won the Arnold yet. So until you win the Arnold, technically you're not really a front runner to win the Olympia or even battle for the top couple spots of the Olympia. You're just not. You know, I'm sorry, but that's just a fact. I mean, Shawn Rhoden, I believe, has not won the Arnold, but he has something a little different than what those guys have. Now, I think everybody's getting wrapped up in the bigger is better bullshit. Again, that's going on all the time. And I just want people to take a step back right now and think for a second. You know, like fucking that ding dong on the other channel says, just think about that. Think about it. Just think. Okay? What have the judges given as a clear message to the Olympians? They do not want somebody so massive that they're going to fucking pop. Okay? Although Ronnie was big, he didn't look like he was going to fucking pop. He didn't look like a tick ready to pop. Although Dorian was big on contest day, he didn't look like he was going to pop either. Jay the same way. Here's the deal. They want the guys who are big, but they do not want the fucking mass monster, freaky, crazy, you know, blocky look. They don't want that. They want the big bloated bellies. You got Phil Heath, Dexter Jackson, and Shawn Rhoden. Those 3 guys are the top 3 in the world right now and have been for quite some time, right? What do all 3 of those guys have in common? Aesthetics. Aesthetics that the other guys don't have. Now, Cedric McMillan, I feel like, could be a number 4 in there. Okay, those 4 guys, aesthetics, they would absolutely be comparable. You'd have to compare them. But when it boils down to who is going to win the Olympia, there's one that stands above all of them 6 times in a row now. And decisively, whether it's that first place win where it's straight first place and they move him off the fucking stage, whether you like it or not, and that's Phil. Phil has a genetic advantage, I'm going to say, that the other guys, no matter how hard they train, no matter what fucking drugs they take, they're not going to have it. It's that 3-dimensional look. If you go back and look at pictures of Phil, you know, in college when he was training, or he was playing basketball, he had a physique that looked like he was training with fucking weights full time and not doing all that cardio running around. He had a 3-dimensional look even when he was smaller. So as he started to train and get bigger and bigger and bigger, some of those guys actually lose that look. Like there are guys that got bigger and lost that 3-dimensional look a little bit. He's not. He's not playing the mass game. The bigger he gets, if he loses that 3-dimensional look, he loses that advantage that he has been blessed with. Now you got Dexter, who's very 3-dimensional. However, when they turn around to the rear, there are insertions that Phil has in his mid and lower back, top to bottom, that just fucking pop out, are just not normal. They're just fucking weird. I don't know how else to explain it. It is such a sight to see in person. And people, Jerry, you're kissing Phil's ass because you're friends. Yes, Phil and I are friends. Yes, I speak to him all throughout the year when fucking, you know, the Olympia is not happening. But I'm also a big bodybuilding fan and have been since I was 15 years old, 14 years old. I'm 41 now. I'm also an NPC trained judge. I'm training to get my judging card in the NPC, and I'm trained by the judges that judge the Olympia. So I also know what to look for and what they're seeing that the average person doesn't see. I think the average person gets so consumed with mass, because mass is great. Freaks, the freakier you are, the better. Then when they turn around, Phil's fucking big. I don't know if you've ever stood next to him, but he's fucking big. And Kaya's bigger. However, there are a flow to Kaya's physique that is just not the same as Phil's. You know, when you look at Phil's arms from fucking top to bottom, the striations, the fullness, the fucking forearm to shoulder fullness of the bicep, Kaya had a short bicep peak. It's different. It's just a different look. Levrone had those long biceps like that, right? You know, Ronnie had the short bicep peaks. However, he had a back that was fucking unbeatable. So when you put these things together and you know that Phil's going to come in condition, he's fucking shredded. You got Dexter Jackson who's shredded. You got fucking Shawn Rhoden who's shredded. But when you turn them around to the rear, even let's say all 3 of them match. Let's just say hypothetically you go fucking on another fucking, you know, on another fucking timeline. Not timeline. What's that? Another universe, okay? We're on the fucking Twilight Zone. And another thing. Let's say they all match, all 3 of them. And they match on the side poses and the front poses. When they fucking turn around to the rear, they're not going to beat Phil. So he beats them by 2 poses each. So even if they could match him, or even if they beat him for some reason in a single pose, when he turn around, he's got those 2 poses. And it's not easy to beat Phil. You'd have to be 110% on point, and Phil would have to be about 85% to be beaten. And I just don't see that coming. See, in the past, Phil has been focused. In the past, he has fucking trained hard. In the past, he has concentrated on winning the next show, being better than he was. This one, okay, number 6 was history making, right? Dorian Yates, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Ronnie Coleman, and Lee Haney. Those 4 guys, and Phil. As he moves up to this one, he now moves up to Lee Haney, Arnold, and Ronnie. One of 4 in history. As he goes up to number 8, when he wins number 7, I said when he wins. When he wins number 7, when he goes up to number 8, he becomes only 3 people in the world to ever do it. If he goes up to number 9, he becomes the only one. Each time he goes back to the Olympia chasing history, it becomes more important to be more focused, to train harder, to train smarter, to not get wrapped up in these guys are bigger, I need to get bigger to beat them. No, you're fucking beating them anyways. They haven't beaten you yet. So if they haven't beaten you yet, why the fuck all of a sudden you think the IFBB judges are going to go, yeah, the biggest guy wins, let's fucking give it to Ramy. Ramy's amazing. I love Ramy. He's a fucking great guy. I love that guy to death. I love his physique. I think he's amazing. I would give my fucking left leg to look like Ramy. Love it. However, he's not Mr. Olympia. Sean Roden, amazing. He came from my area. I knew him before he even turned pro. I knew him when he wasn't even fucking training anymore. Before he even started training for the North Americans, I knew him. Amazing physique. But he's not Mr. Olympia. Dexter Jackson, the guy defies fucking age. I don't know, like, it's like he's got fucking, he made a deal with the devil to stay young for the rest of his life. That's what it fucking seems like, right? But he's a Mr. Olympia who won before, who hasn't, you know, what he had then when he won the Mr. Olympia, there wasn't anybody that had that. He had that certain look. Then Phil came along, and Phil started to develop. And now Phil is the fucking king of the hilltop, king of the mountaintop, he's the fucking king of bodybuilding right now. And to be able to beat him, you would have to bring something that's going to fucking topple him, not just from the front, not just from the side, but from the fucking rear. And you can do all the rows and all the angles and fucking eat all the protein you want, take all the fucking drugs and shoot all the synthol you want. You're not going to beat where Phil has a fucking dominant back just from his genetics. So you guys see, like, it takes hard work, it takes drugs, it takes food, it takes concentration, it takes focus, it takes genetics, it takes all those things. And if you slip up on fucking one of those things and don't have the genetics, you now fall behind to where the guy who has the genetics and also is focusing, working, and doing everything else he needs to do is going to come ahead of you. So I think, Phil, my personal opinion, number 7 is fucking happening. I don't give a shit whether it's like you're biased, Jerry. I love Ramy. I have a fucking Dexter Jackson. He's got a great physique. I love Sean Roden. I love fucking Cedric McMillan. You know, I like those guys' physiques. I would love to be built like any one of them. But realistically, Phil has what it takes, and he has for a long time, and nobody's beaten him since he got up there. Since he won the Olympia, no, he hasn't been beaten. So that's 6 years he has not fucking been beaten. He's won a whole shitload of other pro shows. You know, so, you know, if you look at that, Ramy's only won a couple. Cedric's won a couple. Dexter and Sean are the ones that have won multiple fucking pro shows. Dexter won the Olympia. Sean won the different Arnolds and stuff. He's won a shitload of shows. So as far as the top 3 I see again, Phil, Dexter, and Sean are interchangeable. Cedric, if he can fucking pull that shit off, I feel like he could be up there in the top 4. And I do believe Ramy's going to be up there in the top 5. I do believe he can do it if he comes in peeled enough. But we'll see. I don't even know who else is competing. I'll do my top 10 like I always do every year later on. But as far as will Phil win number 7? Yes. BioStrengthTraining@gmail.com. Leave comments down below, but don't fight. www.BioStrength.com. Like it's the number 7 bicep, and we're out.